We knew this was coming, and it's not a surprise now. Labour's lead is slowly, very slowly ebbing away that it has in front of the Conservatives in this new poll that we've seen exclusive from iNews. Shouldn't surprise any of us, considering some of the U-turns that Labour have done. But I'll give more of my thoughts as we go along and looking more into the details, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive from iNews. Labour's poll lead falls despite public disagreeing with Tories' handling of the cost of living crisis. The drop in poll comes after Labour rolled back on several key policies in the name of fiscal responsibility. They're rolling back, guys. They're rolling back, Labour, and it's going to cost them. It may cost them for all the majority that they will have at the general election. I still think they will have more voters than the Conservatives, but this does not surprise me. You know, we've seen it in not just my videos, but you've seen it in other videos around that Labour have slowly been ebbing back on key policies, changing their tune on certain things, going to a dinner party with Rupert Murdoch, Keir Starmer has been, and people have been arguing, oh, it's just to keep the right-wing media happy sort of thing. Is it really just to keep the right-wing media happy, though? You know, is Keir really going to do what's right for Britain? You know, people have rightly questioned him. And he's not exactly the most... he's not a Boris Johnson. He's not a Rishi Sunak. He's looked at... Some people consider him safe pair of hands. But some people just think this guy can't be trusted. And yes, that is to do with the right-wing media kind of painting that picture, especially the whole Currygate and the Sue Gray thing. People, it's been blown out of proportion. That's given that perception of people. But I look at this. It is still quite a big lead, to be fair. But this is going to slowly ebb away over time. You know, despite everything going wrong with the Conservatives and how badly they are running the country, there are people who will rightly question whether or not Labour is the right party. But let's dive a little bit more into it. So you can see here, this is the current. This is the sources from BNP polling for I. So it is only one poll. Let's be clear. So 43% of voting intention vote for Labour, 29% for the Conservatives, 11% Liberal Democrats, 7% Green, and 10% the others. The surprise fall in Labour's poll predict will prompt further questions over Keir Starmer's cautious approach. And he is being very cautious, let's be clear about that. So, Labour's lead over the Conservatives has dropped despite growing public concerns about the government's handling of the cost of living crisis. The new polling by BNP for the eye shows that Labour's lead stands at 17% points, down 3 points from last month and back to levels last seen in April. The surprise fall will prompt further questions over Sir Keir Starmer's cautious approach amid growing pressures from his own side to be bolder and set out a clear vision for the country. The party has been forced to row back from a series of ambitious policies in a bid to present themselves as being fiscally responsible. Plan to invest $28 billion a year to boost the green economy has been pushed back to 2027, while childcare reforms have been watered down and reports have emerged of the party's U-turn on a £3 billion tech tax after intensive lobbying from Silicon Valley firms. U-turn on a £3 billion tech tax. But while Labour's lead has fallen back, the survey makes for grim reading for Rishi Sunak and the Conservatives, who are lagging behind on nearly every policy platform. According to the poll, Labour is 7 points ahead of the Tories when it comes to the economy, 9 points ahead on immigration, and it enjoys an 8-point lead on the issue of crime, policy areas were traditionally the Conservative Party's strength. Mr Sunak's personal ratings are also a concern for his party, with his net principal polling down from 21% from May to 25% in June. It marks a precarious drop from April when his net ratings were 14%. Yeah, because he's not stood up for what he said at that dispatch box when he became Prime Minister, honesty and integrity. He's failed to do that. He said one thing and he's not doing what he said he was going to do. Sir Keir's own rating, in contrast, remains fairly neutral, with a slight drop from -1% in May to -2% in June. Separate polling from Optimum for Labour shows the party are on course to seize the Tory stronghold of Mid-Bedfordshire, Nadine Dorris's seat, where the Conservatives have a majority of more than 24,000, having held the seat since 1931. One Tory frontbencher told the Eye that many in the party believe the seat is a lost cause, and now expecting a brutal campaign at the next election. I have Labour accusing me in my seat of being in favour of puppy farming. I mean, who on earth supplies puppy farming, the MP said. However, despite the dire polling, the Tories feel that there's still a long way to go with the election and potentially still 18 months away. I hear a lot of how badly we're doing in Westminster and how Rishi is failing, but when I leave the bubble, people are much more supportive. If anything, they are more likely to blame the Bank of England for its handling of inflation than Rishi, the sources says. You can't blame the Bank of England. The government, who are in bloody charge, mate. Government are in bloody charge. Are we surprised? So it's really just pretty much on that poll. I mean, it is just one poll, let's be clear. There are lots of other polls out there, but I do believe it will ebb over time, and the gap will narrow as we get closer to a general election. That is inevitable. It will not stay firmly in control of Labour. And I believe the best outcome would be a hung parliament, in my opinion, where the Labour do not have full control. And my hope is that some kind of proportional representation is introduced from that. That's my hope. So that it allows politicians to be held more accountable by us. Because right now we don't really have our first past the post system it's just not a fair system, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I see the Greens there on 7% and Liberal Democrats on 11%. The Liberal Democrats could have quite a say as well in this general election as well. Whether they'll have power or not is another thing to say. Obviously, there is talk that Labour may take some seats up in Scotland, but we'll wait and see on that. But I think, the rolling back on some policies, I think Labour shouldn't do that until they see the numbers a bit more clearly, rather than making that decision. But what do you guys think? Are you surprised by these numbers? Do you disagree with them completely? Do you just think it's just a case of people are coming and going, changing their minds, chopping and changing sort of thing? I think it's the start of the narrow gapping, unless something big drops, which is entirely possible, but we will have to wait and see. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon.